So many people say that they want to see the light. They want to be enlightened. They want to dissolve into the light of God. And then when they've done that, all over again, the process goes on, and it blows out those mud balls. And here are planets, and here once again, you're a baby, you're a child. The flowers are brilliantly colored. The stars are gorgeous. The smell of the earth, the sound of the rain, everything is marvelous once again. And once again you see the other, the man, the woman that you love, as if it had never happened before.
Alright, things appear to be running a little slowly here. We are on a shared Wi-Fi network, so these things happen. Got a few minutes here. I was hoping to join Toggle's stream, but looks like he ended that, so I don't see anything else much going on right now in the way of lives as far as open rooms and stuff. Here's a link to join. Daniel Berry, welcome back. We are back, yeah, here for a little while. Had a decent breakfast, having some more coffee. I'll be doing some multitasking throughout the day. But also open to having some convos. And so one video I did find that was live, we can check out. I've been really enjoying this this channel, Breaking Taboos, and so we're going to see what's going on over there. And if anybody has anything they want to chat about in particular, or just, general, that's cool. We can do that. Otherwise, we'll do some commentary, and then I'll head into the watch later because there's some stuff in there to check out. So, once again, this is Breaking Taboos. I will share, I can find it here. So, right, so we're just watching the restreams. I don't know who runs this channel. Some of a group of folks working on, which I am also a member of, but I rarely participate in. For a number of reasons. I don't do a whole lot of Discord chats with folks that I don't know. And a lot of the time, in particular spaces, it can just be difficult to kind of get a word in edgewise yourself in these. Why is it doing that? We just went through this. If I have too many issues here, I can always switch to the other method of using my phone for audio and using this. You're just supposed to move over here. Thank you. Please just do what I'm telling you to do. Cooperate with me. Yeah, pretty much the group activity, getting their bearings, and I am firing on all cylinders and ready to go. So. Alright, so we'll see what's going on over here. If there's anything wrong with the audio, let me know, but it seemed to be working well when I checked earlier.
In the call, right?
Yeah. And the number of minutes you've been listening and everything, yeah.
Is that not like sort of minutes? I mean, it's more granular. But it is essentially the same system, no?
One vote for... we just went with this one because it's more like we didn't want cases where there were like tiebreakers, right? That's what we did.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, that sounds super interesting.
Yeah, you can look at the code. All of it's there. Right? It's like a very large code base, yeah.
I guess like my only critique though is this feels like it's very structured, which probably is good for a server like that.
144,
but
so
I wonder how you could like make something that's way less structured.
they're just kind of talking about the format of the conversations they hold right now. Let's see if there's any meat to this. If not, may go to another live stream. I know Thorpe is on discussing his
Room, and then the debaters
legal drama,
but maybe
which is
maybe that's
could
too
be
structured.
interesting. Buffering going on here now.
But it would be funny if like we allow people with, or you, not me.
Yeah, it's getting a little annoying. The center here's a little bit different. House full of women. which again, not a problem for me. I should tend to get along just fine with women. I have issues. It's great. Alright, if this doesn't catch up, I will search for an alternative. I don't know if it's me or if it's these guys, but it says I have a good solid Wi-Fi connection. But as per usual with StreamYard,
If you only match high,
just never really know what you're gonna get.
People,
Oh, that's not a problem at all, right? I mean, because a high elo person winning against a low elo person does nothing
yeah.
to their elo, right?
What I
Like
mean is that there's like ranked scoring, but these are a lot of the like video game ranking systems like fall apart when there's huge like skill disparities or huge elo disparities. Lico, whatever you said. Like it seems like the other thing that video games have is like ranked queuing, in the sense that if I play a Valorant game, I'm only gonna play with people who.
Okay, I'm bored. So this may work better if I do it this way. I'm just not deeply into the conversation there. Having trouble connecting? No, shouldn't be. Should not be having any trouble connecting. According to all my metrics here, the connection's fine. StreamYard. StreamYard is being difficult. I blame StreamYard. Oh, I should see if... Shit. Should have looked at that while I was over there. Maybe I could do it over here. So I mentioned a while ago that I had found a lost slideshow from last year that I had put together, and then was unable to locate it again. And I'm wondering if I was looking in the wrong folder. Because from what I just saw, if not, I've got some papers up here to read as well. Basically killing time, looking for convo. You know, much ado about spirituality and stuff. Because anytime you come into these circles, it always comes back to that. It's like, oh, it's spiritual, and it's this and it's that, and no connection. Well, that's clearly a lie. Okay, so it's not in here. So it's not doing us any good. Alright, let's see if this tab works better. And I'll just try to repost the link to that video if anybody else is interested in that. 'Cause it said it was not posting to all destinations. We are multi-streaming on X, Twitch, and YouTube. Okay, so that time it went through on Twitch and YouTube. The first time it, nope, nothing's going through on X. Don't know why. Can't explain it. I guess I can remove it from X. I don't really know if I have viewers on there. Okay, and let's see if this share works any better for us. close my settings tab since that all appears to be in good working order. Well, when I checked my mic, for whatever reason, it was looking super low, so I turned it up that if I'm like extremely loud, y'all can let me know that. I can turn it back down. Just wanted to make sure that we were in the good audible range. Yeah, like everything's full. Like Wi-Fi capacity is max. Appear to have any reasons there should be lag going on, but of course there is. Okay, we've got a screen share going. Hopefully I shared the audio. I see T-Jump is live. Where is Evidence of God? Of course. Got a sleepy stream scheduled for 5 days from now. Okay, you can do that. Oh, Witsy gets it. Fucking weirdo. Bitch Spot blog. Never heard of it. Newsian, it's just doing a weather report. Ooh, let's see any. Yeah, kind of at this point, whenever people try to push their God beliefs on me, and I don't, you know, I mean, where I am literally like right now here, yes, but in this space, because he's Christian, so obviously it says you are alive, but I don't. Oh, yep, asking this exorcist what he's seen. Exorcisms, prison, and woundedness. Father John Farrow. Demons rule our prisons. Love it. Demon aliens. That sounds really interesting. Might check that out. I made a Facebook post when I got in here, something to the effect of may your day be filled with demons and adversaries, and may you decimate them all. Which got some good response, and obviously everybody knows what I mean. By demons, we don't mean to believe those exist, but when you talk about it's kind of inevitable. We're all going to have something. something we have to deal with. Whatever your particular, some type of internal conflict or personal afflictions, God, I think this is worse than library Wi-Fi, isn't it?
The look in her face just made it very real and very true for him.
And yeah, I don't know how long we're going to deal with buffering. If it keeps buffering,
I want to go back to
we may
that
just
first
switch to
case,
another
the
methodology.
case that you explained in the car, where you were.
We'll give it the pause, see if it can catch up in buffering. Spiraling.
Could see the face of Jesus in your face.
Nope. Yeah. In your face. I feel like we need to go back
As
for
he told
context.
the story, he was in tears.
Yeah, it's just way too slow for comfort.
It was like, we're taught.
Chat still trying to load.
Persona Christi, that we do this in the person of Jesus Christ. We have priests in his place, but truly believing that deep in his heart, he said that experience of what she saw.
Ooh, Brian Stevens. I know that guy.
And how she spoke to him about that. And the look in her face just made it very real and very true for him.
I want to go back to that first case, the case that you front of them. Is that correct? And then the man determined.
We were meeting up. They didn't even know that I'd be on the road at the same time.
Okay, so you were just gonna be there at around the same time.
Okay, yeah, we're moving snail pace right now, so I'm just gonna on this. Attempt. That's just gonna get super annoying. What's up? Hello, lurkers. Hey, Jill, good to see you. You survived Juneteenth? Well, I mean, I guess so. I mean, Juneteenth commemorates the day that they freed your people from bondage. And by your people, I mean the blacks, not the Christians. The Christians are still in bondage. They're always in bondage. It's kind of part of the game, right? You're forever enslaved to your God. And you love it. You love it. All right, so I'm going to try method 2, see if it works any better. So basically I'll take myself out of here, see if I can share screen and go audio from my phone, because sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. We're just working with the tech we have. Yeah, I saw a post recently I wanted to respond to. Actually, I wonder if I could pull it up now before I do this, since I'm here. It's a lot easier to pull this post up on my phone from this individual. This individual sent me a Facebook friend request. We've got many multiples, but I don't know who they are or what they're about. But essentially, they reposted this twice for some reason, exactly the same post. And what it says is, for the past 3 days, I have been reading the articles of Project 2025. It is overwhelming. If you don't know what Project 2025 is, it is Trump's plan to make America great again. Which is, interestingly enough, the same exact campaign platform he ran on last time. Just nothing new about it, right? I'm not going to explain any of it, except one thing. One article of his new Health and Human Services, or HHS, page 451, goal number 3. Promoting stable and flourishing married families, families comprised of a married mother, father, and their children, are the foundation of a well-ordered nation and healthy society. Families comprised of a married mother, father, and their children, plural, are the foundation of a well-ordered nation and healthy society. I don't know if there's any truth to that necessarily. I mean, this is the way that society has tended to function for quite some time now. I don't think there's evidence to suggest that this is the foundation of a healthy society. In fact, we found, many unhealthy aspects to it, which is why divorce has been normalized throughout history. Like, what was the was it King James? One of those guys who, basically made it okay for Christians to get divorced because, you know, it was good for him, and it wasn't biblical, right? So he was like, well, we can kind of amend the Bible to make it okay for people to get divorced because I want to get rid of this chick. No, I mean, the institution of marriage, I think, is a failed institution. It doesn't work. Married people still cheat. Nothing about making a marriage vow makes you less likely to be a cheater, less likely to abandon your family. It's just it's actually not there. Now you have a legally binding contract. There may be consequences inherent in breaking that contract as a matter of law. Okay, and we continue. Unfortunately, family policies and programs under President Biden's HHS are fraught with agenda items focusing on LGBTQ plus equity. See, these aren't agenda items. These are policies in addition to the pre-existing. We already have the status quo of the nuclear family, right? This is to include alternative lifestyles under that umbrella and say, hey, people can live healthy, flourishing lives outside of this nuclear household, right? This one mother, one father, 2 children, and a dog, right? Not everybody has to live that lifestyle. And the thing is, Health and Human Services, right, is not an institution that's supposed to be focused on telling people how they ought to live, right? That's not what Health and Human Services does. It's saying, based upon whatever factors that you happen to be dealing with, right? Whatever your present situation is, how can society best serve your needs, right? So at the end of the day, the government is there to serve the people. The government serves the will of the people. The government does not dictate the will of the people. People often get this confused. Government ought not be telling us how we should be living, right? That's a farce. We tell the government what we want, and the government is supposed to fulfill those requests within some, reasonable parameters, right? As long as it's not an unreasonable request. It's the government's job to do what the people tell it to do. People seem to think this is works the other way around, that the people ought to be doing what the government tells them to do. That's not what governments are for. Governments serve the will of the people, not the other way around. If people are serving the will of the government, that's an authoritarian state. All right, we continue. Subsidizing single motherhood. Subsidizing single motherhood. What does that mean? It means that single mothers exist and need additional assistance because they have to care for children and maintain a household and keep those children healthy, get them educated, make them productive members of society, regardless of whether or not the father sticks around. Now, you could try to make it, you could try to disincentivize the man leaving the house. You'd say, hey, if you leave your children, you're going to have to pay child support. It's going to be a financial burden on you, right? It's about the best they can do. It's not subsidizing single motherhood. Now, in the case of people who have a lack of access to education about reproduction, right? People who have misinformation, bad information about contraception. Those are the people who should be focused on, right? That's a matter of educating people. That's a matter of explaining to people that contraception is not a bad thing, that it is not your imperative as a member of the society to continue to procreate, right? Reproduction should be done responsibly, and we have the means to do so with proper education, a stable support system, right? Having kids is not your means to a support system. Now, the way this is phrased would lead you to believe that that's what's taught by the liberals in society. Oh, we'll just have a kid and get on welfare. Life will be easier. Nobody's saying that. No, anybody who is saying that is supremely ignorant. They're misinformed. They're misguided. And again, this is the fault of the institutions. This is the fault of the parents, the teachers, the schools, and the churches. Disincentivizing work. I don't know what that means. Just saying disincentivizing work. I think there's a growing number of people who agree that the income disparity in this country is outrageous and intolerable. That working an entry-level job can't get you by in the society. It doesn't, and to anybody who says, oh, well, the only people who should be flipping burgers at McDonald's are high school students are not living in the real world with us. They're just not. They don't understand that there are people who have various impediments to their access to education and job training, and they may be discriminated against by employers for other reasons. There are jobs that you won't be qualified for because you do not have the necessary experience, and yet on the flip side of that, you cannot possibly get the necessary experience for that position unless you were to work that job. How can you get experience for a job if there's no program, right, that actually trains you to be qualified for it? The only thing they offer is through like programs like Job Corps, the Employment Development Department, or something like that. Which, by the way, is considered another part of the welfare state. That's another thing you are subsidizing with your tax dollars, is job training for these people. So it's not being put off on the employers. The employers could train these people. You're putting that on the government, therefore the taxpayer. And penalizing marriage. I have no idea what that means. When is marriage penalized? In what way? The only time marriage is penalized is under divorce. You get penalized for being married if you need to have a divorce. Because, in many situations, there's an incentive for the male to stay there because he knows in most proceedings and in divorce, he's going to end up getting the shit end of the stick. He's going to do all the work, and he's going to lose most of his money to that woman and those children, regardless of the circumstances. And the family court is going to favor the woman in regards to custody, in regards to alimony, in regards to child support. The man is going to get the shaft. By and large, it happens most of the time. Not every time, not all the time, but most of the time. So the only incentive for the man to stay in the relationship is so that he himself doesn't end up in destitute. Right? While the children and the mother flourish off of his labor. That's not penalizing marriage. It's actually penalizing the institution of divorce, which is disincentivizing the getting married in the first place. Why would I want to get married to somebody knowing what the consequences of divorce might be? No sense. No sense whatsoever. We continue. These policies should be repealed and replaced by policies that support the formation of stable, married nuclear families. The thing is, these policies did not replace those policies pre-existing that supported the formation of stable, married nuclear families. Those policies were already in place and were never repealed. Right? The policies that include more people under that umbrella of human services are in addition to those that seek to stabilize the traditional family. Continued. Working fathers are essential to the well-being and development of their children. What about working mothers? Are these people aware that there are full-time stay-at-home dads who care for their children and working women who maybe have better opportunities in the job market for whatever reason? And so it makes perfect logical sense for the woman in this case to be the breadwinner of the home. And that a man can do as any woman can. So the nurturing, this is some idea that's been forced upon us that has no basis in reality. We continue. But the United States is experiencing a crisis of fatherlessness that is ruining our children's futures. Hey, Pixie, good to see you. Big love, big hugs. Fatherlessness. Well, I think what they mean to say when they're using this wording is that that the father is not in the household for one reason or another. There might be, a number of reasons for that. Clearly, all of these children have fathers, biologically speaking, unless they're Jesus. But in which case, you just have like a spiritual father and not like an earthly one or whatever, I guess. Okay. It's not the United States as a whole. There's actually a very, very specific studies in the particular demographics in which absentee fathers are more problematic within those demographics in certain areas. There's certain ethnic groups and things like that, and there are various reasons for that. Also, we're talking about the way it looks on paper and not the way it happens in reality. Because in reality, say a lot of families in the inner city, you may have what appears to be a single mother with 5 children living on welfare. And the fact is that that man is actively involved in the children's lives and providing for them financially, but they're doing so by some means that is not necessarily legal or legitimate, right? And the reason for that is because they can make a lot more money selling drugs or whatever other type of business they be in, and are financially better off than if they were go to start flipping burgers at McDonald's, because that's all they're qualified for, right? So, a question. This is the fault of the society. We can say that this is society's failure to provide a living wage job in whatever economic situation you're in, to where you can successfully provide for a family and have a decent life and expect to progress in society, right? Not stay put where you are. Nobody wants to live in the ghetto their whole life, in a rundown slum apartment. That's not how people want to raise their kids, right? They do that by necessity because the opportunities are not available to them. As much as we like to call this a land of opportunity, those opportunities are not available for everybody. Continue. In the overwhelming number of cases, fathers insulate children from physical and sexual abuse, financial difficulty or poverty, incarceration, teen pregnancy, poor educational outcomes, high school failure, and a host of behavioral and psychological problems. This is false. Unfortunately, the fact is, domestic abuse, sexual assault in the home, often occurs from a close family member, a relative. I don't know the actual numbers. I'm not going to like to sit here and try to say, but the overwhelming number of abuse cases happen between domestic partners and close relatives. That's where domestic abuse tends to occur. So that's just wrong all the way through. Teen pregnancy and poor educational outcomes seem to kind of go hand in hand because, as I pointed out earlier, better sex education, better information about contraception earlier on leads to more responsible decisions when it comes to having sex, and therefore reduces early pregnancies. But you have to actually educate the kids, right? Because if you don't educate the kids, they're going to go out and they're going to find out that lesson the hard way. And that lesson comes in the form of getting pregnant at 16. And then to top it off, a lot of these religious families are against abortion. So now you have to keep the baby. Even if it was an essay, even if it was a, one time at a party. Can't get rid of the baby. Nope, can't do that. Because religious reasons. Something in the Bible, God said blah, blah, blah. Right. Okay, sure, why not? Okay, and it continues. By contrast, homes with non-related boyfriends present, boyfriends in quotation marks there. Like, I don't know why they put quotation marks around the word boyfriends, are among the most dangerous place for a child to be. I don't think they have any data to back that up. I would highly doubt that. It's just some claim they threw in there. And they don't. They just say it. They just make like this statement. By contrast, homes with non-related boyfriends present are among the most dangerous place for a child to be. Period. Why? Explanation? No. None forthcoming. HHS should prioritize married father engagement in its messaging. Married father engagement. Notice, these couples have to be married. Can't be this mother-father household where they are unmarried. That wouldn't make any sense. Let's see. Yeah, see, we have
Hello.
James Apperson. Hey, how you doing, James?
Doing good. How are you this morning?
Good to see you, man. I am doing very well.
So
I'm on my second cup of coffee.
Having trouble with my audio here. Let me try to get this straightened around. Yeah, maybe that's it. All right, yeah, I got it. All right. So by that last thing, what they were saying is that if a woman isn't married, then she's going to be playing the field. She's going to be giving trial runs to various guys as a potential long-term relationship. And while she's doing this, while she's being courted, or while she's just having friends with benefits because, whatever the reason might be, because some women aren't looking for a long-term and some women are. But the idea is that the more men in circulation that come into the house, you meet a new boyfriend of your mom every month, the more you're rolling the dice in terms of a guy coming into the home that isn't safe for the kids. Whereas if she ends up just rolling the dice once on one guy, and if she wins the lottery and he's not abusive, then the kids never have to worry about potentially abusive men coming into the home while they're dating their mom. It's just it's just a matter of how often that changeover happens between man to man to man. And while I get what they're saying with that, they're ignoring the fact that a lot of times the policies they want to put into place would make it to where if a husband ends up being abusive, it's going to be harder for them to go their own way, right? Because there's not going to be a safety net there for the mom to be able to restart her life, because we've got these conservative policies that say, if you fall in hard times, oh well, not our problem, right? And so she's obligated to stay with the guy, and if the guy's abusive, then you're guaranteeing that the kids get raised in an abusive home. So it's not any better. Does that make sense? Are you with me?
Yeah. I think it's such like there's like this one size fits all model they have where they think, oh, what if we just follow this model, it's going to work, at least 9 times out of 10, and the numbers clearly show differently, like that the divorce rates just keep going up. So I mean, it's not like we haven't tried this model over and over. Like, this has been the standard model.
Right. They count the hits. They don't count the misses. And part of the problem is the institution of marriage itself. And you've mentioned some of the reasons why it's not exactly smart for a guy to get into one. It's very much what religion does. Religion says, hey, look at how many people do in the church do manage to stay married for a lifetime. Therefore, look at how often marriage, quote unquote, works. But they're ignoring the fact that a lot of the people that stay together for many, many years, if not a lifetime, is because they're trying to make the institution look viable for the church, even when it's not. And so they're dealing with all kinds of abuse behind closed doors, and they're not reporting it because who are they going to report it to? The church doesn't want to know, unless they're going to counsel you to just be patient because love conquers all kind of bullshit. And, you know, trust Jesus to fix your mate if he's abusive, and trust God to give you strength to endure the abuse. And so year after year, these people stay in these abusive marriages that look good on the surface because people don't know. People that just know that you guys, you know, are raising kids together, they just assume the best. They don't even want to know if the children are being abused or if the wife is being abused or neglected. They don't want to know. So what looks like on paper marriage works a certain percentage of the time is completely misleading, right? Those people shouldn't have stayed together. And if we go with ultra-conservative politics, they're going to try to force people to get married young just to be able to survive, and then to stay married just to be able to survive, even though they're in abusive situations. So they're not looking deep into the issues themselves. They're only looking at the issues in a very superficial sort of way. And they got this dreamscape in their head about what it means to be raising children as a two-parent household that's not usually the way that it works behind closed doors. That makes any sense.
No, yeah, exactly. And Pixie brought up a point here in the side chat, saying the divorce rates, are they still going up? They've dropped in a way, but I think it's also because the number of marriages have steadily declined as well. So you have less divorce because you have less people getting married. So it's kind of proportional to that.
Yeah. One sec, let me come over here.
But yeah, and I think the church does, they encourage that model of
Oh, I was just reading the comments. Yeah, I'm not sure about recent divorce rates. I just really don't know. But I do know that conservative politics drives up the rates of abuse in domestic situations. I don't know if you can hear me. Are you still with me?
Yeah, I was going to try and see if I could pull up the stats real quick on that. But yeah, I mean.
Oh, by the way, hello.
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Uh-oh.
You were, but you're with me now. So.
Okay.
Hello. All right.
Yeah, and the church allows for it seems like they'll hold the man accountable to some extent, but at the same time they also continue to push the idea of the woman that, well, you must have done something to deserve this, right? It's somehow got to be your fault, you know, that your husband is abusing you, you know.
Right, yeah, blame the victims.
Let's see. Divorce. Yes.
I think a lot of that comes from the fact that a lot of these hyper-conservative lawmakers were themselves an abusive husband, but they rationalized it as, well, every time I had to have a heavy hand with my wife, it's because she wasn't towing the line. She wasn't showing me proper respect. She wasn't doing what she needed to do as a wife, and I had no choice but to discipline her, right? And so they crouch everything in this justified narrative, and then they think, well, when I think about all the different ways men are accused of being abusive to their wives in domestic relationships, in sharing a home together, it seems to me like most of that is shit I've done to my wife too, but she had it coming, right? And so my thought, their thinking is that if my wife always had it coming when I had to, knock her on her ass, when I had to do something brutal, then probably all these other women do too. And so, I think domestic abuse is hardly even a thing in America. That's just liberal propaganda to say that it's a thing, because women aren't taking accountability. I think this is the narrative that a lot of them are running with.
Yeah, or it must be exaggerated in some way. Oh, well, you didn't. It's like the rule of thumb type of thing. They're almost going back to that. Well, you didn't leave any marks on her face. So they're using that standard or something.
Yeah.
So, and what when I just looked this up, basically over a 4-year period, what it's saying is basically the rate of divorce has dropped by like 1.5% in 4 years, which I don't know. I don't know what you kind of infer from that. Like 1.5% doesn't seem like a huge decline.
Well, part of it, I think,
they're calling it significant here.
During the COVID era, it was even more difficult for someone to leave an abusive spouse because, they couldn't get the job or get to the job or whatever. The pandemic was interfering with their ability to go out there and make money. And so I think that has something to do with the drop in divorce rates. More people were stuck together just to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, and a part of it, I think, probably is changes in the atmosphere of like dating culture, and in a lot of cases, I would assume that many people who left a relationship probably already had a new prospective partner in mind, right? So they would kind of hop from one relationship to the other. Now the dating the dating market's kind of changed in such a way that that I think it's possibly harder to get enmeshed with another person, to where you would kind of go partner hopping in such a way, you know what I mean, where you just jump from one marriage into another because you don't have these opportunities to go and spend time with these other people outside of your home, right? In part because of COVID, in part because of dating apps and things like that, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Good point. So you didn't have a chance to really get to know other people when we were in lockdowns and everything else. People were trying to avoid mass gatherings and such. Yeah.
Welcome, Zyrax and Silverwolf.
Well, hello, guys.
But I also think the language that they use here makes it as if like Health and Human Services under liberal policy is pushing for more like LGBTQ plus family dynamics, where all they're saying is that we're just including these people on an agenda, like, oh, we want more gay and lesbian families, which is not, that's kind of what it's trying to get at is, the government is not telling people how they ought to behave. They're responding to what the people are doing anyway, right? And trying to oh, this Borgia bit. and then they're responding to the will of the people. So this is what people would be doing anyway, right? And you just have to expand that government institution to be more accommodating to those people.
Right. You just keep my picture up there if you want, but that's what I'm doing while we're talking. So.
Oh, let's check this out.
I got this hunting game while it was on sale, so I play it with my son. But go ahead, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Oh, that looks fun.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out a way to get around this mountain, and I keep sliding down on the stupid ATV. It's too steep. But I got a hunting dog with me, and I can. There's a lot to it. It's a pretty fun game. So yeah, so I try to be fair when we talk about conservative versus liberal, because I don't think the liberals always have it right. I don't think the conservatives always have it wrong. But I do think that there is something troubling about the idea of being so focused on saying that single working parents who work 50, 60 hours a week are heroes, or that two-parent households who do the same are heroes. And we don't focus on the fact that if they're that busy working all the time, then when they finally have a chance to get home and parent, they're too tired to parent. They're exhausted from dealing with people. Their energies are spent. They need some me time. And they either give their me time to their children, in which case their own health is going to suffer and affect their ability to parent later, or they give their me time to themselves, and their children aren't getting what they need. It's something that I don't normally hear people talking about, but it's a real problem in families, especially when you have a system that only tries to keep people barely surviving. Right? If people are just barely surviving economically and have to go out of their way to work lots of hours and juggle their time and everything else to survive, then the children are absolutely not getting what they need from their parents. That in turn creates children that end up with bad interpersonal skills and major personality disorders as adults, who then in turn end up either being the abuser or the abused in relationships. So we need to solve that somehow. We need to make it to where families that are raising children have enough money and have enough time that they have time and energy to parent their children.
Yeah, and I think I seem to hear that more from the conservative side, where they will complain about the fact that basically the schools are raising the children, and in their view, apparently public education is run by liberals, which I wouldn't even get in the weeds on that one, right? But I think really the problem is the fact that it oftentimes, in order for a family to survive and thrive, it takes both parents having to be employed at some level, which is taking time away that they would be otherwise spending actually engaged with their own children, right? So then, really, I think you could blame the framework of a capitalist society that says that there's no way that your family can thrive unless both parents have full-time jobs, and you kind of allow these institutions to do a lot of the child rearing for you, right? And then they kind of wonder, well, where did my kids get these ideas? Well, who are you leaving them with most of the time?
Right. And there are statistics. There's a lot of research that's been done to show how many hours a day a child needs of various forms of guidance and nurturing, and how many dollars a family needs in order to have enough energy left and enough resources to spend to be able to properly parent their children. And a lot of the discussions that are had about economic policy and family policy doesn't even address these things. Like, it's not even on the table. The idea is if it looks good on paper, then it's good, right? And that's such a ridiculous way of looking at the issues, because what goes on the paper isn't the whole thing, right? If you can say, well, this look at how many families are being raised, look at how many children are being raised, look at how many marriages stay together, and then saying, oh, look, we're doing a pretty good job, or even look at how many people have jobs, the unemployment rate. We hear that from politicians all the time. Look at the unemployment rate; it has fallen. I'm like, sure, but how many of those jobs are flipping burgers, right? How many of those jobs are underpaying the people that are trying to build a life for themselves or raise children? It doesn't work. You can't raise children and be poor and still have the children and the adult have all their needs met. There's no way. And they can say, oh, well, only teenagers should be flipping burgers. But if that's really what they think, then maybe they should make a law that says nobody who's raising children is allowed to have a job that pays less than what it takes to properly raise children. And then what? Then you're going to have a whole lot of adults that can't get a job because the law says they're not allowed to flip burgers, because then they're creating their own problem by working for less than what they need. And then there's not enough jobs that do pay what they need. What are you going to do? Right? It's a no-win situation no matter what we do. So the argument that, oh, it's their own fault for taking a low-paying job is absolutely bullshit.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think there's you can't have it both ways. And I think the part of my problem with like the free markets, it's like we have to have one or the other. We have to have a basic level of income that is sustainable to support the individual, like standalone, right?
Yeah.
Or we have to have a cap on the prices of basic necessities like housing, healthcare, all of those things, where it can't rise above a certain threshold. Because if any one individual can't fulfill those needs, right, they become necessarily a burden on society.
Yeah.
Right, and through no fault of their own.
I agree 100%. The companies were raising prices, or have been, and continuing to raise prices on essential goods and services, and their excuse is, well, it costs us more to provide those now because of COVID and post-COVID and whatever. But those same companies are posting record profits, like by the billions, which proves that they didn't need to raise those prices as much as they did. They were price gouging. So the government really does need to take an active role in saying, okay, you're allowed to raise your prices whenever you need to, by however much you need to. But if you go beyond this, beyond the ramp, right, that scales with your costs, then you're going to have to be able to justify it, or else we're going to lock you down on that price. You're going to have to be able to justify the increase. And if it's a goods and service, goods or service, but there's already an abundance of in society, it's not like people are trying to figure out where to get it from. There's already plenty of providers. Then you don't get to say that, well, the reason I'm jacking up my prices is because I want to, expand my business, right? Maybe to a little bit, but not most of it, right? If your costs have only gone up 3% and you want to raise your prices by 30%, and it's an essential service, like, I don't know, basic grocery items or gasoline or whatever, then the government should be saying, no, you don't get to. You don't get to raise your prices beyond that amount. Unless the government is willing to unless they'll subsidize families and say that, we're going to cover the extra. We're going to cover your costs beyond what they should have been. But then we're just subsidizing the government or the corporate greed, and in doing that with tax dollars. So I don't think that's a good plan either. As it is, every year, the cost of living goes up higher than what people are increasing in their income. And so effectively, most people are working for slave slave wages. Honestly, slave wages. We're supposed to have gotten rid of slavery, but I notice we haven't.
Yeah. I love that we still have these terms that we use, like a single family household, because you'd see plenty of places where you have 3, 4, 5 families living in what they call,
Yeah, yeah.
and I just don't think it's sustainable. I think at some point we're already there in certain places, like in California, the bubble's already popped. We have more vacant homes more vacant rooms and homes than we have homeless people on the street, and yet those homes are sitting there unoccupied, becoming dilapidated, right? And
Right.
nobody can do anything about it because private property,
Yeah.
And it's something's broken in that.
Yeah, very broken. There are some countries that are making progress, for taking care of those situations. But every time we say, hey, why don't we do the things that those other countries are doing because it works, we're told, oh, we can't because it won't work here. Right? And when people say that, what they really mean is, we won't let it work here. We don't want it to work. We don't want the solution. And when politicians don't want the solution, and they're not offering an alternative solution, then we have to stop and admit to ourselves they just don't care about us, right? They are sabotaging us, and they just don't lose any sleep over it. They are not our friends.
Do you think there's some truth to that? I don't remember if it's like a George Carlin bit or something like. They allow like a scare tactic for the middle class. Make sure you keep working. Make sure you work more because you don't want to end up like those guys. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, they create a situation where people are in a perpetual panic and very tenuous life, right? Like most middle income people don't even have $500 in savings. Most middle income people don't even have that much in savings. And so if there's constant, work extra hard for barely enough, otherwise you'll fall into a lower income bracket and then you won't be able to provide for your family, right? And it's just this constant state of fear, anxiety, driven by the necessity of a precarious life. So the middle class is a very highly manipulated class of people for sure.
And welcome, Nerdy Road. Good to see you there, chat. What game are you playing, James? Sorry, I'm very intrigued by this.
So, what's it called? 1 second, let me look. 1 sec. What is it called? It's on Steam. The Hunt or the Hunter? It's called The Hunt, I think. The Hunter Call of the Wild, and then I bought a bunch of expansions for it. Yeah.
Nice.
Oops.
Yeah, I agree with Zyrax here. With high prices and consumerism is wrong with our world. And let's show this. Take me a minute there.
I mean, it's part of the reason so many people are going to polyamory now, because then you've got those.
Fix it.
Yeah, it's a driver for polyamory because a lot of people are like, if we've got multiple adults in one home, instead of just the 2 adults, how about 3 or 4? And then you can have all those extra resources coming in. Now, I'm fine with polyamory if somebody can make it work, but most conservatives are not because they want that two-parent household.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if you want a two-parent household, they quit incentivizing polyamory by making it to where people can't make ends meet unless they've got 4 adults in the house. But you know, like I said, I'm actually wired for poly. Like, if I ever start dating again, I might consider.
Yeah, which is, I mean,
there we go.
yeah, it's definitely something I've considered. You know, it's the dynamics of the relationship seem really complicated, but if you have a compatible, you know, group, then I think, yeah, I think it's more beneficial for just obviously for the household financially. But I think it's probably also better for the children because they can see, you know, how people function as a collective, right? Rather than just a mother and father, and you know, you've kind of got a very narrow view of how people interact, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you start introducing more characters into that mix, you'll have a much more broad view of how relationship dynamics can function.
True. And it's also true that it takes a village to raise a child. And we don't have villages anymore. So we don't have that larger social structure of redundancy that historically humans have been able to tap into. And polyamory attempts to create a small tribe or a small village in the pockets of these cities that are so disconnected, because you can spend years in a suburb and not even know your neighbors at all, right? Like it's crazy how disconnected our society is. And so polyamory in part is an attempt to resolve that concern, to create a small village that helps to raise the children. And I myself had mixed feelings about it. It has been said that polyamory is for people with a scheduling kink, because they're always trying to balance who gets, you know, making sure everybody gets the, you know, a fair amount of time with whoever they're romantically engaged with or sexually involved with or whatever. But, you know, for me, it's different because I'm not a jealous type. Like, I wouldn't care. Like, if I was in a poly relationship and there was, like, me and two people, or me and 3 people in a house, so total of 3 or 4, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care how much time I get with the other person or persons. I'm going to do my thing, you know, and whenever somebody wants to go do something with me, they can just let me know. Because I'm not counting the minutes, I'm not counting the hours. It's whatever. I like my own company. I've always got things to do, at least when I've rested, if I'm rested enough, and it doesn't matter to me. But a lot of people have a hard time making poly work because they're prone to jealousy, and they are counting the minutes, they are counting the hours. They do start to feel like they matter less if the other person gets more attention. And a lot of times poly focuses on trying to resolve those concerns and balance those concerns. And I think people end up making it harder for themselves by being so insecure in relationships. But I mean, that's another issue. My point was that our financial situation in America has forced a lot of people to consider poly who otherwise maybe wouldn't have. Make this window bigger.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think jealousy would be a major concern of mine too. I mean, but part of it is this idea ingrained in us by society that we ought to be monogamous, right?
Yeah.
That's because that's pushed on us so much through it is, and it's a form of indoctrination, that it's very hard to kind of to break out of that mindset, even though you're very aware that it's illogical. There's still that just emotional kind of gut reaction there.
Right. Well, part of the gut reaction in society is that we have this normative mechanism in our minds that whatever our norm is, our cultural and personal norms, anything which strays from that norm feels wrong. It triggers either a fear reflex or a disgust reflex, right? And so it causes people to be very rigid in what they think it's okay to do or not do in the world, which is a primary driver for religions. And, I'd like to see humanity grow past that. But I guess time will see if it does. But yeah, in the meantime, go ahead.
I see Mikey. I see you backstage. It looks like you, but I just want to make sure. Could you come on camera for a second for me? Just so I can. Mikey, if you can hear me. I know the trolls are getting sneakier these days, so I don't want to get bombed here. But
Sure.
If you're able to come on cam just for find out the hard way.
See, this game is fun. Sometimes they give you quests, which is what I was just doing, but usually you just go out hunting with different strategies, different guns, lures, duck calls, scents, scopes. You go out there and try to hunt prey and stuff. Honestly, I would kill for a fantasy version of this game where we were hunting aliens or something. I think that would be more fun with higher tech.
Oh, yeah. Or something like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, go out and hunt aliens.
For a second, just to make sure we can verify my. Slight bit of delay going on with this. That's not going to help. We need the big one.
So I think I hit a polar bear. I'm going to go look for it now.
Polar?
It looked like a polar bear. I guess I can't be sure what it was. I'll have to get closer to find out.
Like a fun hunt?
Yeah, he was up there, and I'm like, well, I'm going to take a shot, because usually they're hidden. You got to climb through brush looking for things.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me all right?
I can hear you fine.
Oh, fantastic. How you doing, Kevin?
Good. Just wanted to make sure. It looked like you, but I wanted to make sure it wasn't a corn bomber getting clever on.
I know. You might know some of my friends. I'll kind of keep that private. But anyway, two friends that we know very well, Kevin, that you met in the past, both of their streams were porn bombed. Yeah, it was pretty pathetic. I've never seen more. So many people try to disrupt streams before in my life, but knock on wood, knock on my wooden desk. So far, Suzanne and I have been lucky. We haven't had that problem yet. And we've got this.
Yeah, they're trolling hard these days. They've gotten. I had a couple of them that. Well, you were there. You were there.
Yeah. I was. Yeah. I believe I was.
A couple weeks ago when that guy was.
Yeah.
We started having a
Yes.
conversation with him and everything. He seemed normal, and then
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, well, and
all
there
of a
was this
sudden,
right, and there was this one gal named Izzy, and I mean, we all thought this Izzy was cool, you know, no worries and whatever. All of a sudden, she shows up completely naked, except she's showing herself from her backside and exposed and everything. I couldn't believe what I saw. I was like, really? Okay. Yeah, that's quite messed up. I mean, there's just yeah, there's way too many trolls out there now, and we have to be extra careful. Um, I just recently got my system. Um, oh, what is it? What am I trying to think of? Oh, okay. I just recently got my system encrypted with AVG, so I'm using the AVG protection technology. So far, it seems to be working. Some of my closest friends actually recommended it, so that's what I got for my thing. So now I have to verify myself a lot more, but you know that it's actually me. But I'm okay with that, you know, as long as it's protecting me. You know, I have a
Yep.
brand new computer and everything, like I told you before, Kev. So yeah, it's been hard to keep that, you know, going. You know, with everything else going on around you.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. So, hey guys, I've got to run briefly, but I'll jump back over if you're still streaming when I get back.
All right, James. Hey, it's good to see you.
Same. All right. Talk to you guys soon.
All right, James. Take
Bye.
care.
again, that's it. Having fun watching
Yeah.
that
So,
game too.
so Kevin, how you doing? Otherwise, yourself? Everything okay in life? Everything going fine?
Yeah, I'm doing really really well today, man. You know, I had last week got really rocky, but I got myself into a good place. So I'm fully detoxed again. Um, I've got another you know, about a week here at the house I'm at now, and I'm going back into outpatient. And yeah, just kind of getting the ball rolling again. So I can do the next right thing and get healthy. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. You're still working, right? You're still with your guardship, or I don't know what you ever call those things.
Yeah,
Just be
I'm still with the company. I'm out on medical leave right now, so we're gonna see how that pans out when I go back. But yeah, for right now, I'm on you know, I'm on disability, so yeah.
right, right. Well, I mean, it's good to hear
Yeah,
from you, sir.
we had a. I got actually. I ended up getting.
Okay, you know, I was going to also ask in the chat. I didn't even get a chance. I saw Silver in there and said hello to her, and I said, "Oh, hey, Sandy." Um, and Nerdy Rodent, everybody, it's Irox. Silver, how's your housing situation? Are you okay now? Got a nice place to live now? And she was in flux before, and you know, Silver and I were talking and everything, and you know, hoping she got a new place. I don't know where she's at as far as her moving situation was. I know she was, you know, in a certain hotel. I won't say the name of it because I know she wants to keep her privacy. But I was worried about her as well because you know, she is family. So you know, like you are, Kev. So I just was just worried about her. You know, let me know, Silver, how you doing. Oh, you are okay. All right, Silver. Well, you know, we're always praying for you guys. Yeah, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I've been there before. In between places. Yeah, it's not pleasant. Believe me. I was in a real difficult situation when it happened to me. Oh, we just lost our friend there. Come on back there, Kev. Yeah, so as for me, our channel is currently on hiatus. Just we walked away from our own streams and once again and webcams. I just did my last webcam the other day. Just let people know what's happening. I've got a live stream coming up next, or not next month. What am I saying? Coming up in August. We'll be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie, after Suzanne and I have seen it. I believe that's supposed to premiere here in Canada, I believe July 25th, but it might also premiere on July 26th, around the same time down there in America. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that there, Silver. If you need anything, bit of moral support, or, you've got my Facebook Messenger. Always make sure you leave me a message. I do tend to read. I do like to read those messages if people need just a kind word, or gosh, I wish we were millionaires. We could send you money and stuff, and get you an apartment or a house or something. There's Kevin. Hey, welcome back, sir.
Hello.
What happened to you? You dropped out for like about 5 minutes or so. I didn't know what happened.
Sorry, yeah. Was it 5 minutes? Jeez, it didn't. It seemed like an age to me, but
yeah. Well, maybe it was 5. I don't know. I've lost my sense of timing lately. I don't wear a watch anymore. Don't ask me why. I think the only way that, yeah. No, go ahead. I'm going to say something.
I was just saying I had to switch devices, so I'm on both now. But I was about to have to move around for a minute anyway, so that worked out. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, I was just
Now
letting. What's that?
I said now you get 2 of them.
Yes. Oh, now I've got 2. Oh, there's 2 of you now. Oh, there you are. What's a watch? Yes, exactly.
It's like a fancy sundial with a motor in it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When I moved here to Canada, one of the first things I noticed right away is I wasn't wearing watches. And I said, well, there was a reason for that. The reason I wasn't wearing a watch was I wasn't under a work, time. I wasn't under time, of when I had to be at work or anything. Because I realized then that I was finally retired, fully. Well, at the time I was semi-retired when I first moved, but then after that I was totally retired. So I didn't have to answer to any, clock in, workstation, or, punching in for a time clock of, any workplace or anything. It's very free. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's kind of hard because when you look, when you want to know what time, excuse me, if you want to know what time, like for Suzanne and I, when we go out about once or twice a month, and we want to know, what time the bus is running, and what time is the movie going to start, and what time is the best time to go to dinner, that sort of thing. And yeah, so I mean that's where we end up, is because we're both retired, due to our physical condition and other things, don't want to go too much into that or elaborate. But anyway, suffice it to say, I feel like it's more free. I've been free without a watch for quite a while now, and we have a timer on our phone, which helps. So plus Suzanne is the electronic genius, so she she's got us tied in. Not on camera. Yeah, so I have her tied in, with an app, which applies to transit and everything. So yeah, it's not too bad. Yes, watches are population control devices. I tend to believe that's true, Nerdy Rodent. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, Sandy. I really, because we have a channel, I've been okay. I've been for myself. I've been established with YouTube since 2008, so I've been on it for 16 years myself, up to the current, present day. I stopped watching TV. In fact, Suzanne and I both stopped watching TV after we came here back to Canada permanently to stay, to live, in this little, apartment we live in together with our cats. That was 7 years ago. So, yeah, really, the only thing that I follow people on mostly is Facebook or YouTube. Sometimes, Twitter, twatter, we call it, or X, X-ray, for Elon Musk, right? Yeah. But other than that, I'm sorry. I took his last name and I took it from like Captain and Tennille. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember that group, that duo, but they had a song called Muskrat Love. I think Nerdy Rodent might know of that song, but yeah, just how it goes. Wow. Campground to campground. I'm sorry to hear that, Silver. No. Yeah, I'm laughing my FNA off too. Yeah, sure. I laugh at a lot of things nowadays. I try to, anyway. I try not to be too serious. It's like the Joker says in Dark Knight, why so serious? Yeah.
Oh, that's a great line. The way he delivers it is amazing.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger is just phenomenal,
Yeah.
man.
Right.
I was gonna say I bought myself a new watch last year. I hadn't had one for a while. The last one I had was like really nice. It was like waterproof, like all like the military grade stuff, like all the bells and whistles on it. It was great, and I had it for a few years, and I never wore it. And then last year when I was working out at the transit station, I ended up buying one because people were constantly asking me for the time, and I was tired of always pulling my phone out and looking at it. And it took me a couple of months to realize that there were clocks posted literally on every corner of the transit station, like giant, the big, like Big Ben type clocks, like huge, humongous clocks you could see from a mile away. And I'm sitting here going, why are all these people asking me for the time? So I would just start pointing. Like, see that giant clock over there? But I bought the watch just so I wouldn't have to keep pulling my phone out to check the time,
Exactly. Well, here's a funny story. The last time that we traveled through with me and Suzanne, the only time she's ever seen the city, we didn't have we just had our phone. Like I said, we didn't have watches on or anything. But I always knew that there was there's a big watchtower, right, which is over near the top of the hill there, near Nob Hill, and then there's like, a couple others which are down by the pier, pier area, like Pier 39 and so forth. So like I knew where those clocks were, and if somebody would come up to me out of the blue and ask me what time it was, I said, "Dude, there's literally a huge clock over there on time on the hill. If you just look up there, just take the time. You don't even need to watch. You'll hear a big bong go off in like one of the churches nearby or something. It's just the way it is. It's how time is there. It's just it exists, but you don't even need to watch. Everything follows a set schedule. I'm not sure if your transit system has been improved or not. I'm pretty sure it is, but you can even go by. It's funny. You can even go by how the BART train runs, or how the munis come by, or you have buses, things like that. You can get around the city pretty fast. You don't even need like a timer or anything, or something on your phone like we use. So a set timer. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We do that even here. Like I said, we have one phone because I don't trust myself with my own phone. So don't ask me why. It's just kind of a thing. But we share the one phone. We've got the app, and it lets us know when buses come by and subway and all that other stuff. And yeah, and with that one app, we can get around pretty well. That's not an issue. So, plus we know how long they run for. On the weekends, they take a lot longer. I mean, Saturdays, Sundays, oh God, you can be waiting 40 to 45 minutes for a bus. It's pretty bad. It's if you miss one, whoops, you got a problem. So yeah, it's just how they run. Yeah.
Yep. They operate on their own time for sure, and as I hate having to try to explain to people, it's like, yes, the bus does have a set schedule, but bus drivers do not control traffic any more than anybody else does. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I do know what you mean.
Have a magic portal, they can just bypass everything. Like
yeah. Excuse me. Sorry, I haven't been too well lately in the last few weeks. I'm trying to get over that too. That's why we're taking this hiatus, this time off. Not too much time though, because we'll go back to regular schedules. My regular schedule for after September 1st, but we do have, like I said, when you were off for a few minutes, we do have one live stream we'll be doing in August, just after the Deadpool movie comes out, the new one. So, yeah.
They're doing fun.
And everything. Yeah.
Nice. I haven't heard about that yet.
Yeah, but I'm really concerned about Silver's situation, the way she's describing it to Sandy. Our prayers are still out there with you for your entire family there, Silver. We're always praying that you get a good place to live and everything. I know it's difficult when you're in that hotel for a while and you're able to still stream, which is nice. But yeah, I know it's difficult. It's a good thing you have a working computer, Smitty. Yeah,
I'm just gonna say I have personal opinions I'll share with her in private. I don't think it's appropriate for me to put, my opinions on live stream right now. But as far as that goes, just from what I know and everything, I think there's I have some suggestions, but we'll get there. But yeah, definitely not something I'm gonna share on live. I just don't think it's appropriate.
No, definitely not. But I was gonna say to her, she has my Facebook Messenger as well as you, Kevin. I don't know if you do. Well, Kevin, do you have my? Yeah, you have my Facebook, don't you?
Yeah, I got Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. So there's a time, the three of us, we can get together. We can talk to each other in a private chat or whatever. Message each other, let us know our situation. Yeah, you're welcome there, Silver. Absolutely. We care about you. I tend to think that Kevin and I are like big brothers to you, lady. For sure. Yeah, if we were living with you right now, yeah, I'm sure we'd be like, doing the same thing, just bouncing around and stuff. I totally get it. No, like I said, I've been in that situation once before. It was not pleasant. So thankfully, I was able to find a nice place to live, let's say, and then at the same time that I was able to find that, just a little bit later, I was able to find Miss Suzanne, and she saved my life. So, in many ways. I see. Sandy, don't worry about it.
Are you you've been doing a new show on Sundays? Is that right, Mikey?
I did. Yeah, we were doing a show on Mondays. It was called Mikey Sue's TV. What we did is we discussed a previous topic. One of the topics we covered, like on random topics, we had topic time. Topic times, was on Sunday afternoon at its peak, and we would just take one of those topics we discussed and kind of elaborate a little bit further on it on Monday afternoons. It was very early in the afternoon we did that, and then I recommended a movie, which was either a DVD or a Blu-ray that we own currently to people if they want to take a look at it or see it or whatever. And then we opened the floor on the webcam on the chat to a Q&A. If anybody wanted to say a question or something, and then I try to answer it, best I could. Yeah, we did that for a little while. We might bring that back, but it wasn't as popular, I guess. Not many people were watching it, but that's okay. It's no big deal. I decided to replace it with Red Dwarf. I was going to go ahead and do 2 episodes review of Red Dwarf on my webcam for YouTube. Nobody has really done that, and in some extent or to some form. And I got a lot of requests for that. I did a poll, and I asked a bunch of people in the poll what they would like to see for future content. And by a 50 to 25, well, now it's 54 to 23% or something like that. It was by a wide margin, Red Dwarf. And I was like, the British series. And I was like, wow. So I moved up for September. I moved up to Mondays, which will be completely Red Dwarf. 2 episodes I'll review prior, and then do them on Monday. Oh, there you are. And then Tuesdays I'll still be doing my by myself. I'll be doing the Secrets of Isis. That was an old 1970s Saturday morning live action. Early contribution from the DC universe. Then let's see. Yeah, then Wednesdays I'm still doing The Greatest American Hero, which preceded 18. And then on Thursdays I'll be doing 18 with Jay. That'll be a live stream, and each Thursday. And then on Fridays we're going to be doing continuation. Right now we're doing reviews of Star Trek movies. So we'll be doing Star Trek 4, which is The Voyage Home, and then onward. And then we're also going to cover Galaxy Quest at the very end. Oh, there you are, sir. And then after that, who knows? We might do Star Wars films. So we'll see what happens. Mostly just film-based right now. So it's really everything keeps changing, and, the schedule. But it's pretty solid. I mean, I believe I know what I want to do, when September comes around. And I want to give myself some time, to get other things I need to get done personally, in my life. Getting a passport for Canada, getting a, an ID, things like that. So So that's basically what's happening in our lives right now. We're living a good life. I mean, we got our 2 cats, as you can see there on the avatar. That's our beautiful moon pie on the left side, and the other cat is our beautiful Deja Vu. And yes, I always answer this to everyone. That is the Deja Vu cat from the first Matrix. She looks almost exactly like that cat, except a little bit heavier. Yeah, she. You know what's
awesome.
funny? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what's funny is we determined that Little Moon Pie is a mix of a Persian, black Persian breed with a little bit of Abyssinian, which is like Egyptian cat. Yeah, she's got like that lean, kind of hangs out, does all that stuff, and then oh yeah, and then Deja Vu, she's got Persian, but she's also, I don't know if most people know this kind of breed of cat. It's called Mancoon. It's kind of like a raccoon, but kind of mixed with it's a huge size of cat, and she's pretty heavy. She's about 20 pounds or so, and she moves around like a big Mancoon cat in a way. So that's her mixed breed, and yeah, both cats. Well, Moon Pie was taken from a family, and Deja Vu was actually adopted after she was moved around to between 5 different families. They just didn't want her, so we said, "Hey, we'll take her." So, yeah, it's another sisters. Moon Pie is 7. We've had Moon Pie ever since we moved back here permanently to Canada for all those years, and then we've had Deja Vu for the last 3 years. So
yeah, I always think rescues with that.
Nerdy Rodent is doing Rimmer's.
I always think rescues.
Yeah, go ahead, Trust.
Many abandoned animals out there. It's just sad to see,
It's rough to see it. I don't know if you've seen this one channel. It's about the world of cats. It's on YouTube, but there's this one guy back in Europe, and he's got all these cats. Right? They're all either abandoned, or some are even domesticated, abandoned, and some are just abandoned cats. And then he has some, a majority of them are feral cats, that have just been living out, on the streets and fields and everywhere, eating mice, doing stuff like that. And they're very untrusting of humans. They won't come very close. But this one guy I think he's a Frenchman. Yeah. He's really, really nice to animals. I mean, he comes out and he brings a bunch of cat food and little treats and little playthings for them. He does it for every single cat. And so for some odd reason, he's been able to adopt himself all these cats. But they live in a park, where they're free to roam and everything. So it's not like a big house. It's just it's just an area that he's picked out in this park, which I wish I knew where it was. But he takes care of them. I think he's who was the one that was nice to animals? Oh, he's a modern day St. Francis. That's what I like to call him. Because St. Francis was nice to animals.
Okay.
All animals. So, yeah. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. I mean, he's giving of himself. He's not a rich guy by any standard, so it's not like he always has money or stuff to buy a lot of stuff. But he does just have enough, I guess, to get by, and at the same time, he's able to take care of these cats. I just think it's adorable. He's a great guy. So, yeah. Hey, Christian Carpenter. How's our buddy, Christian? It is CC. Hey, good afternoon to you, sir. Always good to see
you. Yeah, great to see you, Christian Carpenter. Yeah, welcome back.
Yes.
So we are, unfortunately, I'm getting close to my getting close to lunchtime, and my program director's here, so I'm gonna have to go meet up with him. But it's been great chatting with you guys, and I'll probably do another one later with any luck. So I'm still working around the tech issues and figuring out what works out here. But we'll figure it out. I got a few days here to work with this, and there's a lot of downtime here. This is, it's mostly just like rest and relaxation over here, and trying to build and maintain connections and stuff like that. And then after next week, I'll be kind of more freedom. I'll be doing like an 8 to 5 thing for my outpatient program, but then I'll be kind of free in the evenings for socialization again, which will be great. So be able to host some longer form shows and stuff like that. But for now, I should wrap up. Do you have anything upcoming you want to shill before we go or anything, Mikey?
Oh, certainly, Kev. Yeah. When you were away for, like I said, a couple of minutes, you had dropped out, and I was, waiting patiently. Hopefully, you got back, which you did. I'm glad you did. Yeah, there is one big event that's coming up. Like I said, right around August 1st. It is listed on the description at Mikey Sue's 4 channel there, which it tells you our summer update. We are going to be doing a live stream, open panel, and chat about Deadpool and Wolverine, which is technically called Deadpool 3. That's supposed to premiere right around July 25th or 26th nationwide, both here in Canada and in the U.S. So we also have a poll running. We wanted to ask you folks if, once the movie's premiered and it's out there, we ask you in a poll, which is under our community section, what date did you want to choose for us to do our update? So we're looking at either August 1st, August 8th, or August 15th. And then there is one final choice. If you folks want to choose any date for us between the month of August, from the beginning to the end, which is August 30th, yeah, let us know, because we can go ahead and do a review of the movie without spoilers, without any spoilers, to let you know what we thought of it. So yeah, that's the big event coming up in August. Other than that, all of our normal scheduling with webcams and live stream will start just after September 1st. So yeah, please subscribe to our channel. We're only 22 subs away from 200. Once we reach that, we'll have a celebration. It'll be impromptu, but it'll be a surprise one if we do reach 200. So yeah, that's what's coming up there, Kevin.
Excellent. Yeah, and I suggest everybody go subscribe to Mikey's channel. If there's not a link, I will put a link in here after I finish the stream. With that, I just want to say lots of love to everybody, and thank you, Mikey, for coming, and James Apperson. It's great chatting with you guys. Everybody in chat, got Sandy, Christian Carpenter, Silver Wolf, Nerdy Rodent, Zyrax. Always appreciate the engagement, and just much love to everybody. And I'm just gonna keep doing my work here, so I'll be involved in that for the day. But I am gonna go kind of semi-concerned about another friend of mine who's a content creator on here right now, so I'm gonna go check in on them real quick. Other than that, everything's going well here, though, and so I just thank you, everybody, again for the support and everything, and there's something about that I'll address later, but now is probably not the time. So I'll end the show by saying, much love to everybody, and be well and stay trusty as always, and we'll see you shortly. And this is how we end the stream. Bye-bye.
Much love.